live in interesting times. Today's stories. Brazil's President Jair Bolsonaro says the Amazon is open for exploration. Khamenei urges Iraqis and Lebanese to seek demands within the law. More than 100 migrants arrive in Sicily after an agreement between Rome, Berlin, and Paris. Kenyan ethnic groups call for a UN inquiry into the alleged colonial land grab. Erdogan says the U.S. recognition of Armenian genocide is worthless. Greenpeace blocks a total refinery that uses palm oil. Plus, Getty Fire forces over 7,000 Southern California residents from their homes. And North Texans deal with the aftermath of 9 tornadoes. This is Eagle News coming to you from Las Vegas, bringing you stories from around the globe. I'm Anna Queen. Brazil's President Jair Bolsonaro says that the Amazon is open for exploration during a speech at the Future Investment Initiative, or FII.
Há poucas semanas, o Brasil foi duramente atacado por um chefe de Estado europeu sobre as questões amazônicas. Problemas que acontecem anos após anos, que é da cultura por parte do povo nativo. Queimar, depois de derrubar uma parte da sua propriedade para o plantio, para a sobrevivência. A Amazônia tem um mundo de oportunidades. Temos uma biodiversidade completamente desconhecida ainda. Estamos prontos a qualquer país que queira assinar um acordo, parceria conosco, vamos explorar a biodiversidade da Amazônia. Até porque o povo que está lá, que são índios, não querem continuar sendo tratados como se fossem homens pré-históricos. Concluiremos o corrente ano com a menor média de focos de incêndio e de calor na história do Brasil. Então era uma acusação, uma fake news, uma mentira que faziam contra o Brasil. A Amazônia não está pegando fogo, até porque a floresta é úmida, não tem como pegar fogo.
Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei urged Iraqis and Lebanese on Wednesday to seek their demands within the framework of the law after waves of protests rocked the two countries.
باید بدانند که مطالباتی دارند. مطالبات به حقم هست. اما این مطالبات فقط در چارچوب ساختارهای قانونی قابل تأمینه. دشمن میخواد ساختارهای قانونی رو به هم بریزه. وقتی در یک کشوری ساختارهای قانونی وجود نداشت، خلأ به وجود آمد، هیچ کار نمیشه کرد. هیچ اقدام مثبتی نمیشود کرد.
Khamenei accused the United States and its allies of being behind the unrest.
در دنیا قدرت‌های استکباری امروز بیشتر از همه آمریکا، سرویس‌های اطلاعاتی غربی با پشتوانه پول بعضی از کشورهای مرتجع منطقه دارن آشوب به پا میکنن در کشورهای همسایه ما و نزدیک ما و کشورهای این منطقه. امنیت رو از بین میبرن. به دلسوزان این کشورها مثل عراق، مثل لبنان که درگیر مشکلاتند، از همینجا بگم اولویتشون علاج ناامنی است. بزرگترین لطمه ای که دشمنان میتوانند به یک کشوری بزنن اینه که امنیت اون کشور رو سلب کنن.
Tehran has close but complicated relations with Baghdad, holding significant clout among its dominant Shiite political groups. In Lebanon, the Islamic Republic has close ties with Hezbollah, a powerful Shiite movement that had ministers in the outgoing government. Nearly 200 migrants pulled from the Mediterranean in the last 2 weeks by 2 humanitarian rescue boats will be taken in by France, Germany, and Italy in line with the European deal agreed in September. MSF tweeted Tuesday, quote, "We are relieved and appreciate the fact that France, Germany, and Italy have finally found a solution for the 104 survivors on board the Ocean Viking and the 90 people on board Alan Kurdi." Italy's Interior Ministry said 70 of those rescued by the Ocean Viking, a ship operated by Doctors Without Borders, MSF, and SOS Mediterranee, would be welcomed by France and Germany. The ministry authorized the ship, which flies the Norwegian flag, to dock at the Sicilian port of Pozzallo. According to SOS Mediterranee, the Ocean Viking rescued 104 people from a rubber boat in distress off the Libyan coast on October 18, most of them from West Africa. Among the group were 41 minors and 2 pregnant women. Michael Farg, the head of the mission at Doctors Without Borders, said all, quote, claim to have been victims of witnesses to physical or sexual violence during the voyage. On Saturday, German NGO CI rescued 90 migrants with its ship, the Alan Kurdi, named after the Syrian child whose drowning in the Mediterranean brought global attention to the migrant crisis. It is not yet known where the vessel will be allowed to dock. Italy's Interior Ministry said France and Germany were accepting the migrants, quote, on the basis of the deal concluded at Malta. France, Germany, Italy, and Malta reached a deal in Valletta, Malta on September 23 to try to avoid ships carrying migrants being held up for weeks while countries decided their fate on a case-by-case basis. In other news, Kenya's Kipsigis and Talay peoples are calling for a United Nations inquiry into their plight. Here's the story.
Kibore Cheruiyot was only 10 years old when British colonisers violently expelled his family from ancestral lands in Kenya's lush tea-growing Western Highlands. Nearly a century later, the last living survivor of the 1934 deportation lives in Kericho with his extended family. The 94-year-old still bristles at the memory, recalling the suffering as his community was marched to a distant, unfamiliar place.
The area was infested by venomous snakes and some other insects. When they would bite you, your body would swell due to the venom or poison.
The British land grab started in the early 1900s and continued until Kenya's independence in 1963. Today, Kericho boasts some of Kenya's most profitable agricultural land, but traditional owners say they reap none of the benefits. The land is largely owned by multinational giants such as Unilever, which sources tea from Kericho for its best-selling brands like Lipton.
The people who were chased away from tea soil is the Kipsigis community. And actually the shareholders, the current shareholders who are in Britain are reaping profits out of the proceeds which is planted on our soil.
Throughout colonisation, the people thrown off their land were herded into native reserves, marginal land with harsh living conditions. Legal experts have argued that under international law, the UK is responsible for the atrocities perpetrated against the Kipsigis and Talay. The victims want a formal apology and reparations for the seizure of their homeland, land which over decades was taken by force and reallocated to white settlers, who turned the fertile soil into tea plantations.
I am so angry because we were very rich people. I want the British to apologise so that we can be friends and embrace one another.
British and Kenyan lawyers will visit Kericho this week. They represent more than 100,000 victims who have filed an official complaint against the UK government at the United Nations. Recently, the UK has faced a slew of compensation claims from former colonies, including Kenya. Justice campaigners have found motivation in the success of previous claims. In 2013, the UK apologised for a crackdown against the 1950s Mau Mau uprising in Kenya and paid out reparations.
Up next, Erdogan says the US recognition of Armenian genocide is worthless. Greenpeace blocks a total refinery that uses palm oil. Plus, Getty Fire forces over 7,000 Southern California residents from their homes. And North Texans deal with the aftermath of 9 tornadoes. Eagle News will return in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back. This is Eagle News coming to you from Las Vegas. I'm Anna Kui. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan on Wednesday slammed a recognition by the U.S. House of Representatives of the, quote, Armenian genocide as worthless and the biggest insult to the Turkish people. His foreign minister Mevlut Cavusoglu also suggested Tuesday's resolution was, quote, revenge for Turkish actions in Syria. Turkey has also summoned a U.S. ambassador to Ankara. Erdogan said in a televised speech, quote, from here I am addressing U.S. public opinion and the entire world. The step which was taken is worthless and we do not recognize it.
Bizim inancımızda soykırım kesinlikle yasaktır. Böyle bir ithamı milletimize yapılmış en büyük hakaret addederiz.
Turkey strongly denies the accusation of genocide and says that both Armenians and Turks died as a result of World War I. It puts the death toll in the hundreds of thousands. Tuesday's vote was the first for the U.S. Congress, where similar measures with such direct language have been introduced for decades but never passed. Cavusoglu was quoted as saying by Turkish media the U.S. House is trying to take revenge over the agreements we signed with Washington and Moscow, referring to accords ensuring the withdrawal of Kurdish militia from areas in northern Syria. Erdogan said the House vote was politically motivated and hinted that the Turkish parliament would pass a counter-resolution. He did not specify what this would include, but in the previous speeches he has touched on the mistreatment of Native Americans.
Tarihleri soykırım, kölelik, sömürü lekeleriyle dolu bir ülkenin Türkiye'ye ne söz söyleme ne ders verme hakkı olamaz.
Erdogan later told reporters he had not yet made up his mind about whether to go through with a visit to the United States, which had been mooted for next month. In other news, Greenpeace activists on Tuesday blocked the entrance to a refinery in southern France, where oil giant Total uses controversial palm oil to produce biofuel. Environmentalists say palm oil drives deforestation, with vast areas of Southeast Asian rainforests having been logged or set ablaze in recent decades to make way for plantations. In addition to releasing vast amounts of greenhouse gas carbon dioxide that has threatened the habitat of orangutans and other endangered species. About 50 Greenpeace activists wearing orange arrived outside Total's biorefinery in Lamide near Marseille at around 6 a.m. They placed 2 large orange containers in front of the entrance, and a protester chained themselves to each container. The group said each container holds enough supplies for the activists to remain at the site for several days. Banners read, quote, deforestation made in France, and French President Emmanuel Macron complicit.
Aujourd'hui, effectivement, on a besoin de hausser le ton parce que le patron de Total continue à faire un lobbying intense auprès des parlementaires pour obtenir des législations favorables au détriment des forêts, au détriment de l'environnement, et c'est inacceptable. Donc voilà, on vient au front, on monte au contact, et on a ces activistes aujourd'hui qui bloquent vraiment les accès routiers pour interrompre le trafic des camions qui transportent des agrocarburants à base d'huile de palme, donc empêcher la commercialisation d'un produit qui aujourd'hui porte atteinte à l'environnement. Les esprits, parce qu'on est dans une situation totalement aberrante où on multiplie les beaux discours au niveau gouvernemental sur l'écologie, on agite des écrans de fumée en permanence parce que derrière les actes, on voit bien que les actes ne sont pas au rendez-vous depuis qu'Emmanuel Macron a été élu. Il a fait des beaux discours sur la déforestation importée, mais en même temps, il autorisait Total à importer 650 000 tonnes d'huile de palme à la mètre, c'est-à-dire une hausse de 60% des importations françaises d'huile de palme. Voilà, il a autorisé un gouffre à huile de palme ici à la Med. Donc on est face à une hypocrisie, et face à ça, on a besoin de se radicaliser.
When launching the Lamid refinery earlier this year, Total pledged it would process no more than 300,000 tons of palm oil per year, less than half of the total volume of raw materials needed, and that would be certified as being sustainable according to EU standards. It said the certification ensured there had been no deforestation to produce the oil and would result in at least a 50% reduction in carbon emissions compared to fossil fuels. France's Constitutional Court earlier this month rejected a bid by Total to secure a tax break for using palm oil to create biofuel. French legislators in 2018 had excluded palm oil from biofuel inputs eligible for tax breaks.
Alors, dans tous les cas, l'huile de palme, c'est un faux problème maintenant parce qu'elle va être interdite en France. Ça fait interdite en tout cas, pas refiscalisée comme ça devrait l'être. Et nous, on s'est assuré en menant une expertise en interne que le site serait toujours pérenne malgré l'absence d'huile de palme et de vente de produits à base d'huile de palme en France. Donc pour nous, c'est un faux problème, l'huile de palme maintenant. Ce site ne traitera plus d'huile de palme pour la France.
Thousands have been forced to evacuate their homes due to the Getty fire in Southern California. Eagle News correspondent Eva Basalahe speaks to some evacuees. Here's the report.
As of early Tuesday afternoon, the 656-acre Getty fire has forced over 7,000 residents from their dwellings.
I had two phone calls come in on Monday at 3 a.m. and each one said, prepare to be evacuated. And then the last one, another message came in a few minutes later saying, evacuate now. I live alone, and I got dressed, which a lot of people forget to do. They just run out the door.
Just scared, you know. Scared. I always thought that when there was a fire, I have a high-pressure hose and high-pressure water thing, you know. I said, I'll stay and spray the home, but when I saw those flames like 200 feet up in the air, forget about the home, you know. It was always there, you know, the threat was always there. So I was always aware that the neighborhood could blow up, you know. I mean, we had fires that were a few miles away many times, you know. This one got a lot closer, though. It was, I don't know, it was hard to tell. Like, it was up 200 feet over the mountain where I live. But I think it was maybe a couple of miles from the house, you know. But it was closer than anything we had before.
Evacuated to the Westwood Recreation Center, residents forced from their homes due to the Getty fire are bracing for elevated fire danger due to Santa Ana winds that are expected to gust as strong as 80 miles per hour in higher elevations.
That's life. I think I was thinking that our motto right at this moment might as well be waiting for the wind, because we can't tell what we're going to do next until we see the wind and see what it does.
Yeah, the best quote I heard was from, I can't even remember who said, but someone said it's the price you pay for living in paradise. So that might be pretty close. It's pretty nice here.
With the fire at only 15% containment, American Red Cross was on hand to provide disaster relief.
Red Cross is providing a place to stay with a dormitory, meals. Anyone has any injuries, we have our nursing staff and medical staff as well. Basically, we're here to provide comfort and hope for those in need whenever a disaster of this type does occur. We've seen more wildfires in California. Whether it's an earthquake or a wildfire or a flood anywhere in the country, you can always be assured that you're going to have a Red Cross organization, a chapter, and volunteers ready to deploy anywhere in the country to help those when the need arises.
Red Cross has been wonderful. They've had public health people here. If you had any problems, you could get some help. It's just wonderful, and there are lots of volunteers.
I've never met such charitable people, you know, just do everything for you. It's unbelievable is what it is, really.
Ready, Set, Go is the evacuation preparedness program of the Los Angeles Fire Department. With the escalating occurrences of wildfires, this campaign has become a way of life for Californians. In Westwood, California, Eva Batalyahe, Eagle News, 1 with 25.
Thanks, Eva. Meanwhile, North Texans deal with the aftermath of 9 tornadoes that ravaged the region Sunday. Eagle News correspondent Nanita Manawis reports.
In North Texas, residents are dealing with the aftermath from 9 tornadoes that tore through the region Sunday, causing extensive property damage and power outages for more than 100,000. On October 20th, the National Weather Service reported 9 tornadoes, ranging from level E0 to E3. 2 appeared in Ellis County, another 2 were found in Kaufman County, and 5 more impacted the Dallas area, which included the cities of Rockwall, Rowland, Wills Point, Garland, and the Dallas Love Field Airport area, with winds reaching a maximum of 135 miles per hour. The twisters caused an estimated $2 billion worth of property damage, according to the Insurance Council of Texas. Dallas Mayor Eric Johnson stated in a news conference that although the storm went across a densely populated part of the city, we should consider ourselves very fortunate we didn't lose any lives, no fatalities, and no serious injuries. Emergency officials spent hours ensuring no one was trapped and received 50 calls for downed utility wires, 40 calls for gas leaks, and 105 traffic lights without power. Encore Electric reported Monday roughly 112,000 customers were without power. The Dallas Independent School District tweeted 6 schools canceled classes due to the damage to the campuses. Texas Governor Greg Abbott issued a disaster declaration for 16 counties. Local authorities warned residents to be alert at intersections and to avoid distractors that might be dangerous. Mayor Johnson stated that while the city is dealing with property damage, the top priority is making sure that everyone in the city is safe. Stay tuned to Eagle News for the latest updates. Reporting from Dallas, Texas, I'm Nanita Manawis, always 1 with 25.
Thanks, Nanita. That is today's Eagle News. Join us again tomorrow for the weekend edition. Visit our websites at eaglenews.net and eaglenewslive.com. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/eaglenews and on Facebook at facebook.com/eaglenews. Thank you for watching. I'm Anna Kui, and I'm 1 with 25.